Hello everyone, I once again welcome you all to my YouTube channel English Manisa. So in this video we are going to discuss note taking and note making. So let's see first of all brief intro of this note taking and note making, then we'll see in detail how to make notes. So note taking is nothing but is noting down the useful information and points during any lecture or seminar. That is called note taking. Here one has to do nothing, just simply uses the original author's language. Means here we have to listen to speaker like any lecture or any speech or seminar, and we have to copy down the points whatever the speaker is saying, and it generally feel easier. But the issue is the content is often poorly assimilated and easily forgotten. To refer it back later, what should we do? If you want to refer it back, then we have to make notes. Now, what is note making here? Note making is nothing but it is a recording important information from different sources, such as articles, newspapers, textbooks, and all. Means by reading these things, we are recording essential points, and it is an active process because here we are selecting essential points from these sources like articles, magazines, or any books so that we can refer it back before our exams. Let's take one example like a business management students who is attending a seminar on organization behavioral psychology. So these students feel it challenging to remember everything that is presented in the same order. So what he does, he notes down the valuable and essential information briefly, means in short form, in the form of phrases, not in the form of sentences. Because these notes help him in time of need later. Now let's see in detail that how we have to make notes. Now here you can see on the screen there is a procedure for note making. Note taking is very simple. Here in note taking we don't have to do anything. Simply we are copying or noting down the author's language, means original word of the author. That makes the listener understand the topic easily and become active listener. Whereas this note making it is different from the note taking. To understand the concept then we have to paraphrase it. That's called note making. Here you can see on the screen procedure for note making. What we have to do before making the notes. This is the procedure. Now we have attended the lecture or any seminar. We have taken the notes. Means we have written some phrases or sentences. Then what you have to do after attending that, if you want to remember this for a long time, we have to make note. Have to do while making notes. We have to filter the important points from the available information. Then, after filtering out, we have to organize the topic and ideas logically and sequentially so that we can read it afterwards. Then, the next step is we have to be stay active and engaged while reading or listening. If you are listening any seminar or lecture, you have to be active because you have to make note afterwards. And if you are reading something, then also you have to pay concentration because you have to make note after reading this. Then at the last, you have to revise the content before your exam. Now let's see the stages in note making, how we have to make notes. As you can see on the screen, before making notes, what we have to do, we have to read the passage or any article from newspaper or anything. We have to read it first. Then what we have to do after reading, we have to highlight the keywords or phrases during second reading. Then next step is we have to note down the essential information. Then suppose if you have highlighted here important point, you have to write it separately on a different paper, important information. Then simplify the information your own words. We should not copy whatever is there. We have to write in our own words. Then after that, organize the information in a suitable format. We have to organize it sequentially, then add an appropriate title to it, then summarize the content briefly in your own. Now this note making is about shifting one mindset from passive collection to active creation. Here we have passively collected something, some information from any speaker or lecture, then we have to actively create that in our own language after understanding it instead of just recording the content. And the goal is to assimilate the information for long time access so that you can refer it afterwards. Now there are so many strategies of making notes. For example, you can see on the screen in outline method and the mind mapping and split method and spider diagram and many more. Let's see some of these in detail. Now let's see the outline method. What is outline method here? So outline method is nothing but here it involves selecting 4 or 5 keywords or phrases to summarize the whole passage. As you can see on the screen here, before summarizing this COVID coronavirus, here just simply we have written some title, means main topic, then subtopic, then we have given some facts. So this is only called outline method. Then after that in your exam you have to paraphrase it, you have to write in the form of passage, like important information you have to write in this form, then afterwards you have to elaborate it in the form of passage. So these keywords, as you can see here, these are helpful as headings or subheadings of the original text. As we have subheading as well, and the information is noted in bullet points, as you can see here. Made this note on coronavirus. So main topic, first you have to write the title like coronavirus, then subtopic is COVID 19. Then, under the bullet format, you have to write the information like fact, that CO means corona, and BI means virus, D for disease, and 19 means year that appeared, means the coronavirus appeared in the 2019. And after that, again, you have to write the main topic or it could be subtopic. Then you have to give further information. After making note by this outline method, it will be helpful for you to summarize this in your exam. Now this is the outline method where you have to write main topic, subtopic and facts. Information is noted in bullet points. Now let's see the another one, another form of note making. It's the mind mapping. This is a pictorial way of note making, like important information is noted in images or we can use text also. Exam you might get this mind mapping and they'll ask you to make a passage on it, and or else they'll give you one passage and you have to make map on it, means mind mapping, you have to do the mind mapping of this given passage. So here you can see digital media I have used as a mind mapping, and I have written this all information, all mind mapping in the form of passage. You also can get the same in your exam, or else they will give you this passage and you have to make mind mapping on it. Now let's see the features of this note taking. Here we use the speaker or author's original word, and we take the information from one particular source, either book or speaker. Because here simply we are taking the notes, we are not making any notes, simply we are taking notes. So here we take one particular source to take a note. This is a passive approach to study, and this is lesser understanding because our aim is only to put down the points whatever the speaker is saying. It is called note taking. Here we are not doing anything, simply we are copying whatever we heard or seen. So note taking is nothing but it's just copying down the whatever you hear or see. Now let's see the principles to making a good notes. So here you can see 3R formation of note making. The first one, 3R formation. That first R is referred to rephrase, relate, and then revisit. And let's see each one in detail. First one is rephrase. What we have to do, first we have to rephrase the original idea. Whatever we have taken note, we have to rephrase it. We have to write it again. And here we should not use the author's or teacher's original language. Instead, what we have to do, we have to use our own ideas so that we can remember it for more time. One is relate. What you have to do here, you have to connect ideas together so that you can remember for more time. Like for example, you can use any mind mapping, like mental maps you can make or to solve any problem or anything. Next is revisit. Finally, you have to build upon the ideas. Just like your mind, your note too feels alive, and come back to them to review and revise them as you learn more about the topic, add more example, more question and more related ideas. Here you should not just copy the authors or speakers word whatever you study or hear, but here you have to actively participate. Here you have to create your own system, means create your own language here. If you are making note, it is the context of studying for your exam because you are preparing for your exam. So make sure to include your own mnemonics and triggers. Because that note making you can see here, it involves reading or listening to a speaker and writing down everything in a more understanding form. Here you have to use your own understanding. And here you are taking points from different sources like articles, newspapers or textbooks. And it is an active approach to study. We are actively participating in note making. It is more understanding process compared to note taking. In note taking, simply we are copying author's words, but here we are using our own understanding to make these notes. because your aim here is not to put down whatever you hear or seen, but to put up them down in a more understanding way. And also this note making is easier to understand because here you are adding your own thoughts and your own understanding. You are not depending on the words. You have understood the text, then you have written in your own words, and that only will help you to repair it afterwards. This note taking is more intellectual demanding task than note taking. Note making is very simple. It's nothing but to rewrite in understanding way in your own words. For example, you are writing in exams, you are listening to my summaries or you are learning some summaries, but in your exam you are not cramming the summary, you have not by hearted the summary. Just you have understand the summary and you are writing in your exam that summary. That is called you are making note, because you have understand that answer and you are writing in your own words, in that's your own creation, that your own creativity. That's called note making. So note making and note taking is nothing but just simply note taking means you are copying someone's word to word information, and note making means here you are using your own understanding and you are rewriting the sentences or any passage. So this is all about note taking and note making. I hope it would be helpful for you. Stay tuned for more videos and thanks for watching.